read the executive order guidelines for remote meetings. This is the open meeting of the Hopkinton Conservation Commission. It's being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we're complying with the executive order that suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. All members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Conservation Commission is convening by telephone and video conference via the Zoom app, as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Additionally, the meeting is also being broadcast live and recorded by HCAM. Accordingly, please be aware that others may be able to see you and take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast by voice or video may be captured by the recording. Supporting materials that have been provided to commission members for this meeting are available on the town's website. After commission members have discussed each project application on the agenda, the chair will then open the discussion to public comment. The chair will first ask members of the public who wish to speak to identify the name and address. 3 minutes will be afforded for any public comments. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote of the commission members. Okay. So Carrie is still not with us. Hold on a second. Carrie's joining now. Anna. Okay, Don, so we have some documents that we have to review.
Yeah, we had the 2 order of conditions from the last meeting, 3 order of conditions from the last meeting.
2 for Whisper Way and 97 Franklin Road.
Right.
Yep.
And then we had a certificate of compliance application. I don't know if Matt's on board. If he can touch base on his findings for that, I'll try and crack open the file.
Yep, Matt's with us. Matt, any issues with the certificate of compliance with 31 Stony Brook?
Or maybe he didn't get a chance to look at the site.
I've been looking at a lot of Stony Brooks lately.
I know, exactly. I'm getting them all confused. I'm not sure if I get your comments yet, Matt. Maybe I put it on premature.
Yeah, I don't think I got out to that one yet.
All right. Until the next meeting, Don.
Thank you. Yep.
Yep.
I think I probably just wrote up a draft for that. And then we also, the commission talked about approving the issuance of a 6th extension permit. So we wrote that up as well.
Right. Yep. I saw that. Okay.
So if anyone had any questions about the orders or anything, we'll just, we actually have hard copies of the signature pages in a manila envelope down in the basement. So after the meeting, if anyone wants to swing by and sign the documents.
Okay. Are we in the process of getting the electronic signatures squared away with Connor? Don?
Yeah, I haven't got back to, well, town council didn't get back to me either. So we'll, look at that information she had provided. We've just been juggling too many balls.
Yep, no worries. Okay. So a few new applications received the past few weeks.
I think all those will be on future meetings.
Yep.
Yeah, not around.
So there's another amended notice of intent for Chamberlain Whalen.
Yes, for additional road work.
Okay. Okay. All right, the draft minutes of May 12th, did everyone get a chance to look at those? And if so, do we have any comments or questions? If I get a motion to approve the minutes of May 12th,
So moved.
that's Ted, and a second, please.
Second, Melissa.
All right, and we'll do the roll call vote. Melissa,
Aye.
Carrie, Ed,
There we go.
Dean, Janine, you're an aye.
I'm an aye, yes, sorry.
Ted,
Aye.
and Jeff's an aye. Ed, are you an aye?
Yes, I'm an aye.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So moving along. We have a waiver of condition request for 6 Downey Place, Don Corey.
Yep, cracking that open. Basically, 14 was for the as-built plan. I'm cracking open the order now.
They want to waive the as-built plan.
Yes, that's their request.
I think that is going to have to be a denial of the request. Is there any specific reason why they're requesting it? They just don't want to spend the money on it, or?
We're seeking a waiver. We were made of this. No. They're just assuming the contractor handled it at the time, but the contractor did not.
Yeah, I mean, I think,
They are the applicant at the time. They're still the owner. It was made out to John and Christine Corey back.
this was a notice of, this was a notice of intent, correct?
Correct. Just, it's so old, it was just under the act. So it's just a request under the act. But, the order was issued under the act. And at that time, the commission still wanted as-built plans.
Yeah, yeah, I think we just need to let them know that, for the record, we need the as-built, signed by the engineer. Is everyone in agreement with that?
I agree.
Yes, me too.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, if you can let them know, please, Don.
Yep.
All right, and then Laurie Vieira, 19 Knoll Road, an exemption request.
Yeah, this was for a fence within 50 feet of the wetlands. If it was outside the 50, it just would have been at a staff level.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the sketch plan coming up. So you got the existing house here, and they're just looking to fence the yard in through here. And I got a couple of site photos. So basically this is the front yard. Here's the road. So they're looking to fence in this area, but not to go, into where the area is vegetated.
Okay, so it's all in previously disturbed area.
Exactly. But there was one thing I noticed when I was on my site visit. We had a RDA application in 2017 for the driveway, but I see an existing shed, that wasn't part of the permitting process after 2017. And actually I saw some, looks like some dumping that I don't recall. right at the edge of the limit of work. So I don't know if the commission would want to look at this as a request for minor project exemption for the installation of the detached.
Yeah, this
Shed.
was this the guy who owns Pandolfi Chocolates?
No, well, he used to, but now it's under new ownership.
Oh, okay.
So we could check with the building department to see, you know, when this went in after 17. But
All right, yeah, let's see if it was installed by the previous owner or the new owner.
okay, I'll do some research on it and get back to you guys on that.
Okay.
Don, is it within the footprint of the pavement?
No,
Within
like
the footprint?
as I recall, like this is the edge of the pavement here, and I think so it might be, you know, where you walk in, it might be off the pavement, but I don't think the whole thing's on the driveway.
Okay.
Anna, Jim just joined. Okay, so I think I'm okay with the installing the fence around the perimeter of the yard. Don, is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Any objections? No, okay. All right, Newcomb, 15 Twin Island Road. This is another exemption request.
Yes, let me bring that up. It's one of those, it's a pine tree located very close to the house. And I know we've had other requests for pine trees that are around the lake that have, some of the arborists have been noting some dieback, like some viral infection on some of the pines. So I noticed some of the branches were getting that dieback. It still had a crown, you know, a live crown, but, you know, it seemed like it might be, you know, it might be having what the other trees are dealing with. And I've seen plenty of dead trees around the lake that I haven't even brought to you guys' attention, so.
Right, yep. No, considering that, you know, this is a persistent issue down in the lake area with the pine trees, I think we're good with that, Don. And I think I recall you saying they were amenable to planning something else once they remove it, correct?
I
Something
didn't talk to them
small.
about that. I mean, they got, you know, a pretty good tree canopy here, but I can run that by if they want to just, you know, put something small, you know, underneath. I think they're concerned with how close it was to the house too.
Yeah. Yeah, just something small to stabilize the soil, I think would be helpful.
Okay, yeah.
Does that sound okay to everyone?
Agreed.
Yes.
Okay. Brendan Properties, 20 Saddle Hill Road. This is a project change request.
Yeah. Let's see, what file number is that? 1687. There she is. Do I have the project change? Raspberries. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I didn't move it over. Yeah, I'm gonna have to table that maybe till a little end of the night if I can find it in my emails. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right, well, why don't we move on to the 645, the 76 Pine Island Road. And I need to read this for the public record. The Hopkinton Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, September 15th, 2020 at 6:30 PM virtually online to hear all persons interested in a notice of intent filed by Jim Valise to remove an existing dock, construct a new dock with associated site work, and installation of accessory structures. The location is 76 Pine Island Road, Assessors Map R33, Block 17, Lot 0. Okay. We have the applicant on the call with us.
Phil Housing from Land Planning, representing the applicant.
Okay, how you doing tonight?
Good, how you doing, sir?
Good, thank you.
I believe Jim is also on the call here somewhere.
I am indeed, thank you.
All right. So the proposal is an existing house out there, been there quite a few years, kind of on a peninsula. Jim would like to move his jet ski dock and add another dock with a boat lift adjacent to it. And I believe an after the fact permit for 2 sheds that were constructed on the easterly side of the property.
Okay.
You can see where the jet ski dock currently was. It's kind of shaded in the back. He wants to move it. All the docks will be in front of his property.
Okay. Okay. And the 2 sheds are in the back side of the property there?
Correct. They were existing when we got to the site.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, so Matt, you had a chance to take a look at this. I saw your comments. Looks like they were pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's really just a question of sort of what's been permitted in the past. Like, I don't know if the docks were ever permitted previously. And then there's various features on the site. Not all of them are shown on the site plan that was submitted. Again, just trying to kind of clean things up as far as if there were previous things that were or weren't approved. Just so the commission's aware of all that. And then just the question of if the docks have a Chapter 91 license or not.
As of the information we know right now, none of the docks have the Chapter 91 license, and that's part of this program. Once conservation is good with the work, we'll apply, for the Chapter 91 permit for what's out there.
Through the chair?
Yes, Don.
Yeah, typically, maybe it was we usually ask for a copy of the application. We can condition that. We usually ask for copies of the application and then when the permit gets issued. Chapter 91
So
application.
you're going to be doing that coincident with with this permitting, Mr. Halsing? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. After the commission approves the location of the docks, then we'll go forward with Chapter 91.
Okay, so that'll be a condition in the order. And then what other features, Matt, were on the site that weren't identified on the plan?
There's a pretty good sized patio with a big fireplace. So Dawn's bringing up my pictures here. So if you go through the pictures, it'll kind of show various that.
Okay. So it's the fire pit area that you're talking about?
Yeah, I think that's primarily the area just because it's a, permanent, obviously a permanent structure there.
Right. I mean, it looks like it was in previously disturbed area, so it was something that could have been permitted by the commission or would have been allowed by the commission. So I think it would probably, so Don, as far as we know, based on the project record, that hasn't been approved by the commission. Is that correct?
Yeah, back last year when the commission looked at it, we knew we approved one of the sheds in 2017, not both of them. We didn't approve the work here or the dock work, and I don't even know if that area was even there last year. I don't know when that went in. We didn't discuss it. We didn't discuss those items last year. I don't recall seeing them when I was out there taking pictures for the last year's meeting.
Okay.
So I'm happy to comment on that, Don. It's Jim here. So that that was all in a application submitted February of 2019. The fireplace, the rear patio work, all of that was submitted back in February of 2019 directly to building department. And there's a copy of that in the records in tonight's meeting. So those were all submitted back in February of 19. The fireplace, the retaining wall, the dock work, all of that. And both of those sheds have subsequently been permitted with certificate of compliance by building department.
But not through the commission, is that correct? Just through the building department you're referring to?
Do you mean the project with the fireplace?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were informed when I submitted that paperwork back in February of 19, where there's copies on file there. We were repairing existing that was already there. And so building department then came back to me and indicated that no additional permitting was going to be necessary. And we have copies of all that information.
Okay. So
And within that application was documentation for conservation. I think it was like a probably 10 or 20 page document, which we submitted the plans and photos and everything as well.
that was submitted.
Chair?
Yes, Don. So-
Yeah.
I guess when the commission was reviewing this back in August of 2019, I think they were just expecting, they knew there was site activities on site that they were expecting an after-the-fact permit application. So I think they were expecting to see whatever was done would be documented on this application.
Okay. All right. So I think we just need to, clean up some of the site activity that was previously done in this application. Mr. Halsing and, I know the existing sheds are shown on there, the retaining wall, that I think the fire pit area needs to be added to the plan as well. And I think with that should capture the extent of the site activity that hasn't been formally documented. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so to confirm pretty much a site as-built of the recent activity from the past couple of years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we can, unless Matt, Don, you see a reason that would preclude us from doing this, I think we can just request a revised plan and condition the approval on the receipt of the revised plan that shows those activities. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me open it up to questions or comments from the commission. Any questions or comments from commission members?
Sure, through the chair.
Yes, Ted.
It seems to me recent discussions we've had about new docks being put in along the lake have been docks that have been pulled out for the wintertime. It looks like this is a permanent dock out in the water in a place where there is no dock before. I wonder if a floating pull it back in the wintertime dock is an option.
Through the chair?
Yes, Don.
Yeah, I mean, the commission has issued a bunch of permanent docks on the lake, but in accordance, normally they would get the applications to the state Chapter 91, so they know that, the state owns the lake, so it's sort of like they just want to make sure that the state's aware of the permanent dock going in.
Right. Yeah, so we've permitted both, actually, Ted.
Okay.
I
I
can-
remember a lot of floating, but okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so-
can email you a bunch, Ted, if you want to see the past.
No, I trust you.
Yeah, so that was another, just to reiterate, we'd request the application for the Chapter 91 filing as a condition of the approval as well. So I think we mentioned that already, but, okay. Any other questions or comments from commission members? Questions or comments from the audience, please?
Through the chair,
Yep.
I did get an email today. Thought there was some site activity machinery going on today. But I didn't know if since the applicant's here, does he have any answer to what was happening today on site?
Sure. Yeah, we're doing some landscaping right now. So ripping out diseased bushes, shrubs, trees, and replanting new, non-diseased items.
So where is that work happening?
Along the edge of our driveway, along the side of our house, and to the left of our beach, in between the kids' swing set and the beach.
Okay, so that work would be required to be permitted through the commission as well?
So I had reached out to building initially and had indicated no permit was required, and therefore I did not then go to conservation in addition to that. So can you just elaborate on what needs to be required? We do have plans from the landscape designer that I'm happy to provide.
Yeah, so we would, that would be all captured under this filing that you're doing now.
Okay,
But we would just need to, have the work identified, both in narrative and on the plan. And again, it sounds like it's happening in previously disturbed areas, but, I'm assuming that since we don't know for sure. So it sounds like, to me, we need to just expand the notice of intent filing a little bit with some of the other work that you're doing. Who'd you speak with at the building department, Jim? You remember?
it's a good question. I usually communicate with them through email. Happy to pull that up for you. And as I said, we do have copies of landscape design plans, I believe, in the narrative, as well as visual that we can provide.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be helpful, Mr. Veliz. I just want, the reason I'm requesting the contact at the building department is just because there's, obviously a disconnect there. So we want to make sure that, this doesn't happen to other folks who want to do work down at the lake. And, we want them to realize that, the work needs to be permitted through the commission, because it sounds like whoever you talk to doesn't have a full understanding of, what the Concom requirements are. So I think it would make sense just for us to continue this out to the next meeting until we have a better idea of what the full scope of the project is. And then you can submit those landscape, design plans to us, the revised plan showing the work. That would be helpful. And, as I said, I don't think it's going to be a issue or an issue permitting it, we just need to get a full understanding of what the scope of the project is. That's all. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. All right, so were there any questions or comments from the audience? Let me just scroll through, see if anyone has their hand raised. It looks like we don't have any questions or comments. So our next meeting is October 6th. So does that sound okay to you to continue it out to the 6th?
Most likely.
Well, it's either going to be a yes or a no. If it's not,
I will say yes.
it's okay. All right, and if you can just please send us a email verification of the continuation to the 6th.
Sure.
And then if it becomes an issue, it's not ready, then just, notify our office and we can extend it out to the next date for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So our next application is a request for determination of applicability for 15 Huckleberry Road. And I need to read this into the public record before we get started. The Hopkinton Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 15th, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. virtually online to hear all persons interested in a request for determination of applicability filed by Dinah Sy in Cardinal Ward to determine the limits and regulatory status of the on-site wetland resource areas. The location is 15 Huckleberry Road, Assessors Map R6, Block 65, Lot 0. Good evening. Do we have Mr. Ward or
Miss Kendall? Is there an Andrea Kendall on the list, Jeff?
uh,
Hi, this is Andrea Kendall. I had a issue with unmuting, so I apologize.
how you doing this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Again, my name is Andrea Kendall with LEC Environmental Consultants, and the project before the commission tonight is two aspects of work on an existing single-family house located at 15 Huckleberry Road. There is, I'll start to the north of the dwelling is a wetland system, and their site has a 30-foot existing no-touch forested area, and then beyond that, it's lawn transitioning to the house.
Okay.
The wetland was just recently delineated and reviewed by Matt Farrell, who had no comments about the location. So the 100-foot buffer zone that's depicted on the plan is accurate. Thank you, Don. What is proposed are two items. The first is a single-story addition occurring within the rear of the site. That's a 416 square foot addition, but that is located outside the buffer zone within existing lawn.
Okay.
The second aspect of work is within the front of the house to replace the existing front entrance, make it ever so slightly larger. You might be able to see the existing concrete stairs and then the red outline.
Yep.
Thank
we can
you.
pick it out.
So the footprint increases very slightly, and then there's going to be a protective awning over that, a roof overhang. Thank you. That work is located just over 51 feet from the wetland. So technically, this qualifies as an exempt activity under the bylaw, since this is a minor activity accessory to the dwelling.
Mhm.
We are proposing erosion controls, either straw wattles or compost filter tubes around the actual work area, and then extending for more to keep the contractor outside to confine their access point. We're proposing an orange snow fence along their route to go in and out of the area.
Okay.
Are there any questions on that?
Nope, I think that is pretty straightforward. I guess a question for the property owners is the two sheds. When Matt, our consultant, was out at the site, he noticed there were a couple of sheds that were located in the buffer zone area within the 50-foot. And it didn't look like those were previously permitted through the commission. So we just wanted to find out if there was any information on that that they were aware of.
Yeah, I can summarize, and then the homeowners are with us tonight on the Zoom call. The shed closest to the wetland is offset 40 feet, and these two sheds are located within the existing lawn. They were installed in 2017, and from what I understand, the homeowners had called town hall for input, advice, and I guess it turns out they were not aware of the filing requirements with the Conservation Commission. They understood that they needed to keep the sheds a minimum of 10 feet off the property line, and just the way the existing tree line was and the alignment and the angle, that's where those were located. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's on the previous, it's on existing lawn area, so that, would have been something that the commission would have likely approved.
yeah.
The other note that our consultant identified is that the 50-foot buffer zone isn't identified on the site plan, so we would just ask that that be included.
Okay. The offset from the new work to the wetland is depicted as 51 feet, 4 inches, just to clarify that we could certainly update the plan and provide it for the record.
Yeah, that'd be
Sure.
that would be good. Okay. So let me open it up to questions or comments from the commission. No questions or comments from commission members? Questions or comments from audience members?
Mr. Chairman, with
Yes,
no discussion, may I be permitted to say hi to Andrea?
You,
Thank you.
okay. Ed, you gotta be a little faster on the trigger with that mute button. Okay, sounds like there are no questions or comments from the audience. So Don, what's the best way just to address the shed locations? Because that's not going to be captured under, this is an RDA, so.
Yeah, I mean, we could just make this, we could just note, that the sheds are an after the fact approval under the RDA.
Okay.
'Cause if they did submit an exemption request, the commission might have looked at it and said, since it was in the lawn, that commission might have, back in 17, might have approved it even as an exemption request if they went through the channels,
Right, Yeah, okay, so we can make a notation as part of this RDA process, and that should suffice.
Yeah, noting that, yeah, the existing sheds are approved after the fact under this
Okay.
application.
Okay, so, that sounds good. If we can get a motion to,
Through the chair?
yep, Don, sorry, go ahead.
Can we get both motions, a positive on the approval of the delineation, and then a negative for the work, showing that the addition is outside jurisdiction and this is inside?
Yes, yep, so positive on the delineation is what we will vote on, and a negative on the proposed work for the request for determination of applicability. If I can get a motion to issue that as,
I'll make that motion, Melissa.
okay, that's Melissa, in a second, please.
Second,
Ed is the second. We'll do the roll call. So Melissa,
Aye.
Kerry, Jim,
aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Neen,
Aye.
Ted,
Aye.
and Jeff is an aye. Okay, I think we're all
Through the
set.
chair?
Yep,
And that was subject to the revised plan that they were going to submit with the,
correct, right. So I
Okay.
got good catch there. Okay, Andrea, thank you. We appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving along. So we have 0 Old Town Road. And this is going to be an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation, and I need to read this for the record. The Hopkinton Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, September 15th, 2020 at 6:30 PM virtually online to hear all persons interested in an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation filed by Wall Street Development Corp. To determine the limits and regulatory status of on-site wetland resource areas. The location is 0 Old Town Road, Assessors Map R29, Block 25, Lot 0. Good evening, Mr. Petrosi.
And Arthur Allen is here as the wetland scientist representing Mr. Petrosi.
Okay, how you doing, Mr. Allen?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Good, thanks.
All right, Don, thank you for putting up the plan. Basically, this is a 12-acre site off of the developed portion of Old Town Road, which is currently a dead end. And you can see Old Town Road runs to the west of the site too, as basically a unimproved street. There's essentially like a cart path or trail that runs down there. I delineated the wetlands late last year, and then I was back again this spring to look at things and also to extend the stream bank delineation somewhat, and that's all captured in the report. But essentially, the wetlands are all up at that north end of the site. They're associated with a stream that's mapped as intermittent on the USGS map. I did run stream stats on the stream at the time. It came up at about 1/4 of an acre watershed, which would normally be a confirmation that it's intermittent. But then I was subsequently informed by Dawn of a previous filing a bit downstream of this near the lake that was done for the town, where they actually expanded the watershed and captured areas that I understand are culverted under Route 495. And there's the other stream stats done for the town. But you can see the original stream stats line splits down through the middle of that watershed where it came up when I ran it, and then understanding that there's some culverts that expand that to the east of 495. So the stream stats, the watershed that was run for this town project came up at a little over a half square mile, which throws you into the stream stats analysis of the flow duration. And the flow duration on that, the stream stats that was run for the town came up slightly over the 0.01 discharge at the 99 percentile. So basically, that town-run stream stats for the town project showed that this is actually a perennial stream at the point where they ran the watershed. Again, our watershed is slightly upstream of that point. I don't know if it'll make any difference, but that's something that we need to look at a little bit further. I know Matt.
I can tell you through anecdotal evidence, because I'm familiar with this area, that stream runs year round. So, I would confirm the town's conclusion that, it is a perennial stream, but you can, feel free to take a look at it.
Yeah, sure. Understood. Yeah, we realize this information's out there. In addition, Matt Verrill and I have been in contact through Dawn, and that we're in the process of scheduling a site visit out there to walk the delineation tentatively on September 24th. The other issue I wanted to mention is my client, who's also the applicant, has requested that I ask about a waiver from the requirement to show topography. He would be willing to have the town GIS topography put on the plan if that would be acceptable. But at this point, he's in an early stage of the acquisition. He's not the property owner. So basically, he's trying to limit his expenses, which he's already put some into it, obviously, to get.
Can't you just identify the site on a USGS map and provide that?
The USGS was provided as part of the filing. Is that what you mean?
Okay. So Matt, what do you think about that?
I think just if we can pull the topo off of the GIS and have it put on the plan, I think that would be sufficient. I don't think there's a need for on-the-ground topo at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. We can have the engineer do that and submit a revised plan.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, so it looks like we have a little bit more homework to do on this, but at this point, let me just open it up to the commission members to see if they have any preliminary comments or questions.
Nope, no from Jim.
Guys, it's Carrie. I was just going to say, I'm going to butter to this property, so I'm going to recuse myself from this hearing or any others.
Okay, thank you, Carrie. All right, do we have questions or comments from audience members at this stage of the process? Let me just see if anyone has their hand raised. Doesn't look like it. Going once, going twice. Okay, so it looks like the site visit with Matt is the September 24th. So you want to continue this out to October 6th? Will that give you enough time?
That should be fine with me. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm presuming that we're probably not likely to have any big wholesale changes in the flags that are going to go to the survey. So I think that should be fine. I will just note that, as I'm sure Art is aware, that the state is in a drought advisory. So basically, there wouldn't, even if the stream is dry when we go out there, it's not possible to use that as a finding to show it as intermittent at this time until the drought is lifted. So just throwing that out there.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Okay, so we'll continue this out to October 6th, and Mr. Petrosi, if you can just send us an email confirmation of the continuation, that would be great.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, think we're all set for tonight.
Night now. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Allen. Okay, Don, when you're ready, just let me know. and we'll-
Actually, Mr. Petrosi's on the work session as well as number 9. Since we have him, do you want to go to number 9?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
If I might
Thank you.
have to jump off soon, just FYI.
Okay, Melissa. Thank you. All right, so we have a request to waive condition, which condition was it, Don? Sorry.
It's the one where all the permits need to be in hand before construction gets started. It's kind of a standard condition the commission has.
Yeah. So can you just give us a little bit of background on what?
Sure.
That'd be helpful.
Sure. Well, you know, as in connection with the Conservation Commission's approval, we're also in front of the planning board to get permission to construct the right-of-way. So they would endorse an A&R plan for the 3 lots. Their policy is that they won't endorse the A&R plan until the improvements are constructed. And the commission's condition is that if this is considered a permit, then we can't get the permit until we construct the improvements, and so we're like in a catch-22. So I had asked Don to make a decision as to whether or not we can proceed. I'm not quite sure that that's what is considered a permit per se, but we wanted clarification so that we weren't overstepping the order.
Right, yeah, no, we appreciate that.
So that's the first question, and then the second question is, we've already installed the silt fence for the erosion control, and there, people who are installing it wanted a clarification as to whether or not a 12-inch straw wattle would be acceptable to the commission to install. The plan just says a filter mitt, and so there's an option of a 12-inch compost sock, which is very, very heavy and wouldn't be able to get carried through the woods. And then there's the 12-inch straw wattle, which could be installed quite a much easier application.
So I'll defer to Matt on that. Matt, what's your opinion there?
Well, certainly the compost sock, in my experience, is much more effective, probably due to the weight of it, as Mr. Petrosi described. That being said, the site is very flat, and I wouldn't anticipate there likely being a lot of flow carrying sediment. But you know, as Don always says, it's the applicant, builder, contractor's responsibility to make sure that the resources are protected. Certainly, straw wattles are pretty commonly used, and certainly a 12. If it was an 8-inch, I would probably say no, but a 12-inch is a little bit more effective, presuming it's installed and maintained properly.
Okay, so it'll be installed and maintained properly, Mr. Petrosi, the 12-inch?
Absolutely. I mean, I would have preferred the compost sock myself because, as Matt says, it's a very heavy, durable, long-lasting product. But it's just because of the heavily treed area there, it's just difficult for them to carry it or move a pallet of it into the woods without doing some tree clearing to make it happen. So
Mr. Chair,
Yep, go ahead, Matt.
just a question for Mr. Petrosi. A lot of those compost socks, could be put in, the sock is carried in, and then the compost is blown into them. Is your
Yeah.
contractor looked into doing that?
I don't think so. He told me that they come in big on pallets and they have to move the pallet in and just take it off the pallet. I don't think they blow it in on site. In other words, it's for these guys. So.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're all set with the 12-inch, but just, as we said, you need to make sure that that's maintained properly.
Through the chair?
Yeah, Don, go ahead. Sorry.
Just to clarify, it would be in tandem with the sill fence as well.
Oh, yeah.
The commission prefers wattles that don't have the plastic netting, just because they become a wildlife issue. So they prefer the jute or the natural netting.
Biodegradable.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
And
Okay.
on the first question regarding the exemption,
Yes, yep.
I don't
So
think
going
that-
back to that, yeah.
I don't think the commission was so tied up on the A&R plan for the lots. If the planning board has to wait until the road work's done, but I thought Mr. Petrosi was with the planning board last night for the work to redevelop Leonard Street. So I think that's the crux of once the planning board approves the redevelopment of Leonard Street, then I think the A&Rs is just a matter of course after that. I don't think the commission would have an issue with that. Just I think they'd want to make sure the planning board's okay with the permit to go do the redevelopment of Leonard Street.
Well,
Yeah, so I think that makes sense, Mr. Petrosi. I mean, as long as you get approval from the planning board to do the work at Leonard Street, we're fine with the A&R, holding off on that until the planning board is ready to issue it.
so what about tree clearing proceeding in the interim?
I would prefer to wait until you have planning board approval, because if it's not approved, then it wouldn't make sense to go in there and clear all the trees, right?
Well, I don't think that it's a question of not being approved. I think they've already expressed their opinion that Leonard Street is a way in existence. So it's really just a question of the standard of construction is what they're going to be considering at the next meeting on the 28th. These have to do with whether or not they're going to require a sidewalk or a berm or a turnaround for the fire trucks, that kind of thing. So I don't think that's a question. The only reason I ask about the tree clearing at this point is that we have very good conditions. It's much drier, and if we lose this weather, the site might get inundated with water as the season goes along, and then it might be more difficult to do the tree clearing at that point. So throw that out as a consideration for to allow the tree clearing to proceed once the erosion controls are in place.
But it sounds like the scope that the planning board is considering, whether there's going to be a turnaround for the fire department, sidewalks, those types of things, is going to have, a direct impact on the area that's going to need to be cleared, correct?
Well, we've asked for waivers of all of those regulations. Those are the standards that are in their subdivision rules and regulations. And for a roadway of this sort, just like previously on Buckland Street, they had granted waivers of these items that we've asked for, but they just simply, last night, they didn't have the time in their agenda to actually formalize a discussion on them. So, I'm fairly confident that we'll get the waivers that they've previously issued on the Buckland Street side. So it's just a timing issue. We've had a very dry summer, fairly dry fall, and I think it would be a benefit if we could just do the tree clearing at this time rather than wait till the season got wetter.
Through the chair.
Yes, Ted.
I watched the planning board meeting last night, and I would be uncomfortable to allow clearing of trees before getting planning board approval based on what I heard last night.
And so can you just expand a little bit on that for us? Like what?
So
what do
I heard several questions. Mr. Petrosi mentioned most of the questions they had, but it didn't feel to me like they were ready to say, if we have a little more time, sure, we'll approve all of these requests for waivers. My sense was that there were some weighty questions about turnarounds, about using a driveway as a hammerhead turnaround, which would impact the construction of the road. I didn't get the feeling that they were feeling terribly comfortable about the road proposal as it was presented by Mr. Petrosi. And because of that, I would not feel comfortable allowing tree cutting until I know for sure the planning board was going to approve the road that was proposed.
May I address that, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So just so that we understand what the parameters are. So currently, I have the right to go in and improve Leonard Street without the planning board approval. Where the planning board comes into play is because we want to subdivide the property into 2 additional lots. And for that purpose, we need the process in Hopkinton is that we submit what's called a petition to construct a private way. All of the items that the planning board discussed last night are already incorporated into the plan that just simply have not been explained or shown to the planning board in the right manner. But they've all, like for example, the turning radius for the fire trucks and so on into the driveways, that's already been provided for, and they want a turning analysis to show that that's been will be facilitated. So none of the items that they discussed were things that were not or would not be allowed. But in any event, let's say for the worst case scenario is that they don't endorse the 3-lot subdivision. Well, I still have the right to go in there and build the roadway for the land that we have, regardless of what the planning board decides. So to me, it's a moot point, but I'll respect Ted's opinion. And all I'm saying is that we'd like to go in there and clear because of the time of year that we're in, and it's been a dry year. It would be very productive if we could do it now rather than wait till it got wetter on the site.
when is the next? When did the hearing get continued to, Mr. Petrosi?
We're on the agenda for the September 28th. I'm not sure if the commission meets anytime now between October 6th is when we continued the previous hearing, but certainly if we can get further clarification on the 28th, if the commission were to meet again, hopefully the weather won't change very much, that we can still go ahead and do that. But it's a scheduling thing too, with regard to having the people lined up to do the work, and so just my thought, anyways.
Yeah. So I mean, the 28th is only 2 weeks away, and assuming that it's not going to be an issue as you indicate with the the Leonard Street development either way. whether the A&R lots get approved or not. I mean, I think it's a moot point for us if they, you know, if they agree to the Leonard Street piece of it. And I think it's only 2 weeks away, so I don't know if that's really, the weather's going to have much of an effect over the next couple weeks.
Right.
But Carrie, what's your thoughts?
Are you putting me on the spot?
I'm going to put you on the spot. Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather wait till everything's all settled before, because we've got burned in the past where people get started before everything's approved, but I'm kind of burnt down on this project.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, you know, the meeting's in 2 weeks, Mr. Petrosi. I mean, I'd be, you know, if it's okay, you know, I'd prefer to hold off until we get the planning board approval as well, just so we don't have any issues with the butters or.
Okay, sure. I just wanted to bring that up, you know, I've had experiences where we've gone into a site and it got wet and it got messy. So I'm trying to make sure that we do this in the driest possible season as possible.
Right, yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, if it was, you know, if the planning board was going to be waiting, you know, a month or two to make the decision, I think it'd be a different kind of scenario, but, you know, we're looking at 2 weeks, so.
Can we put this on the agenda for the 6th as well for like a similar work session type of topic?
Yeah.
And then hopefully I'll have a better understanding of what the planning board wants. But one other item is, you know, I've been having conversations with the fire chief as well regarding the driveways and some of the things that he's looking for. So I'll have some feedback on that at the next meeting as well.
Okay, perfect, great.
All right, thanks very much. Appreciate
All right,
it.
thank you for your understanding. We appreciate it. Okay, have a good evening. Okay, so Brendan Properties, Don,
Yeah.
20 Saddle Hill Road, a project change request.
Yeah, I had it all the time. I just, sometimes I look at my screen and I can't see the forest for the trees. So 1687, post-hearing information, project change, bringing up the request, and I will get you the plan. I will also get you the approved plan. These were always in the file when I sent out the link. Just sometimes looking at it, I can't read my own filing system. Let me get you the approved plan as well. So should be the most recent. Second revised. There we go. So here's the project change plan. They want to move the driveway. Well, I'll give you their words right here. We're going to change the location of the driveway and flip the hand of the house. The location of the existing driveway is a serious safety hazard. The grade is extremely high on the right side, and Saddle Hill Road is a curve in the street, and you can't see anyone coming from the left as you leave the driveway. Cars on the road fly, and I've almost hit myself and contractors going in and out of the current driveway entrance. So here's what the commission approved. Zoom in. So you got your 100-foot buffer zone. They were looking to get a lot of the impervious out. So what you've got is on the right-hand side. And I did give them some feedback that they may want to give the commission an idea how much more impervious is in the area. Looks like they've got a proposed 4-foot high retaining wall. The commission might want to see some more design specs on that, so you get some assurance that you're not going to have the wall collapse over time.
Yeah, definitely.
Those were just some of my, and then I don't know, sometimes the commission wants to know how they're going to manage, pavement in the buffer zone. So you've just got the tip of it here, and then it looks like, I think some of the buffer zone driveway would be in over here as well. So I'm not sure if the commission would want to ask them for more information in regards to this project change request.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to, Don, because this is a fairly significant project change. You know, everything's in the, you know, the entire driveway.
I did let them know I was going to list it as a topic. Do you know if anyone is in the audience that can speak to it?
Is anyone from
Brendan Properties?
Brendan Properties on the call here with us?
If not, I'll just respond to them.
Yeah, so, you know, to your point, Don, I think we need some more information on the design of the retaining wall. You know, the area of disturbance in the 50 and 100-foot buffer zone. You know, whether they're proposing pervious, you know, pavers or pervious asphalt.
Yeah, you want to know how they're going to deal with infiltration. Yeah.
Infiltration, yeah. Is that you know if it's a 3-car garage or a 2-car garage?
I have to look back at the.
Looks like it's a 3 to me.
Right. Looks like it's about the same size of what was approved. Obviously, the garage was outside the jurisdiction at that time, so I don't know if we've got a lot of details on that. The garage
Like, is this, when we approved the project originally, that was part of 3 or 4 more houses that they were putting in along the street.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So you had a cumulative review of it as well.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. That was the point I'm making is, because I recall, you know, we were really trying to get this, because I think it was originally proposed as it's being proposed now with the project change, if my memory serves me.
Yeah, let me see if I
And
can
then
get
we, and then we asked them to flip it around and move the driveway to the other side.
Yeah, I just brought up the approved. Let me see if I can get the original NOI plan. So this might have been, they still might have always had it proposed here. Because there were, like you said, I think we had at least 2 filings for these A&R lots, maybe 3. I'd have to review how many, because they had like a dozen of them. You know, we only had a couple of them down at this end.
Yep.
So
Yeah, so I think we need a little bit more information from the applicant, or
Okay.
a lot more information, actually.
All right,
So if you can just let them know,
I will.
thank you. What lot number was this, Don? Sorry.
Yes, this is 20 Saddle Hill Road, and I'm not quite sure if I know the lot number off the top of my head.
That's okay. If I have the address, I can find it.
All
So
right,
it's 20 Saddle Hill. Just go out
Yeah.
there and check it out.
and I don't know if it's on the plan or the NOI.
Okay.
Lot 10.
Lot 10. Okay, and then we have a couple public forum requests.
Yes, I'll bring those up. Actually, you had, we skipped number 8 on the
Oh,
work
yeah,
session.
sorry. Yep,
Bring
okay.
that up.
Yep. Orloff, 12 Bull Moose Run. This is an
Yes.
exemption request.
Yeah. Let me bring these up for you. Got some photos. I've got a sketch plan. Most recent one.
Oh, yeah.
And I got the request. So the property owner has an existing well here. The existing driveway ends about here. If I can just show you my photo. So there's the existing well. You'll see a fence up here. That's the end of the driveway. You can see the car parked right here. There's a pretty significant drop off right here. Basically, you got a stone retaining wall along here. Everything in here is basically, gone wild. So with the commission, even though it's not a lot of ground cover, you get a lot of serious upper canopy tree cover that gives it a lot of shade. So basically, you're just dropping off this at the end of the driveway into this, ravine, basically.
Mhm.
And that's where the well is. So, and the well is going dry. They're having issues with the well, so they're looking to have it fracked. So all they want to do is just go down and maintain the well. The problem is the truck has to get close enough to the well. It has to be like within 10 feet of it. And the existing driveway just doesn't give that to them. So they're looking to, essentially build a ramp to be able to get the truck down to maintain the, to service the well. Even though it's going into an area that you guys might consider, undisturbed buffer zone, the limit of work was probably through here at the time. What they probably do is they probably drilled the well and then they came in and did a lot of backfill to build the house and the driveway, so kind of left it an island. And I was like, well, yeah, you might need, I was talking with them. I'm like, yeah, the commission would typically look at disturbance like this as you need a permit. But in actuality, you're just trying to maintain an existing well. And, if there wasn't a ravine here, if you're just going to drive to the truck, hydrofrack the well and drive off the driveway, I think the commission would just be issuing them a letter, yeah, that's an exempt activity. You're maintaining an existing structure.
Yep.
So it's kind of an odd one, but I would think the commission might want to entertain, this as an exemption request just to maintain the well.
So it's a 12-foot wide ramp that they're putting in, approximately 25-foot long.
Yeah.
And then is the intent to,
yeah, after the truck, it would be a lot of gravel to support the truck. Then when the work is done, that sort of keep it stabilized long term. That's why I was like, well, the commission would want to know how you're going to stabilize long term. They'd just be looking to loam and seed it, and then obviously keep it free of trees and shrubs if it needs to get maintained in the future. But I think he wouldn't be adverse to just leaving it like a meadow. I don't think he wants to go down there and mow it once a week like his lawn. But I think he still wouldn't want it to turn into a bunch of trees that then, I'd have to cut to be able to get to my well again.
yeah, so I think if we put the requirement in that it gets loam and seeded after the work is done and is allowed to revert to, kind of a meadow
Yeah.
area, they can seed it with like a wild,
Yeah,
fall
conservation seed mix. Yeah.
Conservation seed mix, yeah. The pollinators. I think I'm okay with that. I'll just let the other commissioners weigh in. Does that sound okay to everyone?
Sounds fine.
Yep, that's
Yeah, sounds good.
Chair,
Yes, Matt.
I think that sounds fine as far as access and stabilization and everything. I guess the question I would have would be, I don't know that much about hydrofracking, how much water that's going to generate, where that water is going to go, especially if they're sort of building a road in there. We don't want a lot of water going across non-stable surfaces, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually know when they're drilling new wells, we have those, they do the pit and then we, surround the pit, but this is just a fracking job. So yeah, I guess we could reach out, how much water they think would come up, would it act like it? And I would think we'd want to, have it instead of going to the rear of the, well, I think we'd probably want to see if they could pit the front area where it's really kind of already disturbed, I would think you'd want to
We
pit
don't
it.
want it to destabilize.
You'd want to pit it in this area where there's not a lot of vegetation through here, where you get more vegetation into the rear, So I could talk to him about, if they're anticipating a lot of, water coming up from it, if they could have it, sort of corralled in here, even in a sediment bag or, but it's, yeah, I don't know the process of, it's not like you might not be able to, direct it into a sediment bag. So if they can just channel it into this area, that would be preferred.
Yeah, I think we're good with the exemption request on, if you can just get clarification on, how much water is going to be generated. And, they can work through you and Matt to make sure that, it's away from the ramp area, so it's not destabilizing anything that, they're
Right.
constructing, and we're not getting washout, that type of thing.
Right.
Does that sound okay to everyone? Yeah, okay. I think we're good, Don.
Okay, I'll let them know.
All right, thank you, Matt.
And we've got another project change request on the agenda for 1639. Get to that. I don't know if I let them know as well. I don't know if there's anyone there. I thought Mr. Murphy might try to chime in.
Yeah, I did see him come in earlier. Let me see if he's still on. Yeah, Mr. Murphy is on.
Okay.
I guess I have to unmute myself.
Good evening, Mr. Murphy.
Oh, rats. He gave me new stuff too. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can dig that up.
I think I'm muted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
All right, I just gotta dig up the most recent plan you gave me on Friday. I create this folder on Thursday, so I've got your previous plan. You just give me a second. Should be able to dig up your more recent information. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
The more recent plan showed the building in red,
Yeah.
and the erosion controls were shut off apparently on one of the plans.
So this is 1639. Project change.
59 Chestnut Street.
Yeah. Let me just download this and get it over into the file.
Okay.
And I will download your request as well.
Well, the meeting went fast. Surprise.
Yeah. Yep, it was a lightning meeting tonight. Which is good, because the previous few have been kind of marathon type meetings. So it's a nice little break.
Well, I'm glad I showed up when I did.
2 seconds. Copying it now.
Okay. Take your time. I'm happy to be here.
So what firm are you with again, Mr. Murphy?
Murphy Associates, environmental consultants.
Right, okay.
And I'm representing the fellow who purchased this property, 59 Chestnut Street. His name is Chris Tordai. He's requesting to put a colonial building on the site.
Okay.
Request to 99901.
Is it the bottom one there, Don?
Getting there.
9922?
Nope, getting them right now. So
Okay.
here's the most recent plan, and I'll bring up the request.
Okay, yeah, that's the plan.
There we go.
Okay, if you can all see that plan, the original building on the lot that was proposed, more of a conventional building, the owner has requested to put in a colonial style, a traditional colonial style building, and add about 200 square feet to the foundation area. The Also, what we've requested, the original plan showed one dry well to the rear of the property. I took a closer look at the capacity of the dry wells, and we're pretty much maximized it on a 10 to 15 year storm. So I added a second dry well. So each corner, opposite corners of the building will each have their own dry well. This basically doubles the capacity of what was approved.
Okay.
And it also, it makes it much better to do when you put the gutters on the building, if you have the pipes going all the way around the building to one dry well, the piping just gets a little bit messy because you have to drop it. The pipe has to have an invert drop of almost a foot all the way around the building to do that. And you lose a foot in your, your depth to groundwater. So the idea is pretty much most of the buildings I work with, we put a dry well on each side of the building so that you don't have to lower one of the dry wells. This way, both dry wells are considerably above groundwater.
Okay, I think that makes sense. And the footprint of the building looks like it's a little bit smaller.
No, through the chair?
Yeah.
The red is what the commission approved.
Oh,
Black
okay.
is what is now being proposed.
Okay.
Rectangular, the corner. And also another point to be made here is that the original driveway was going to slope down towards the wetland. And this garage is going to come in from the side. It will not be a drive under. It will be a side entrance garage. The people are 55 plus, and they don't want to have a drive under garage. So what we're proposing is to raise the driveway in that area, and all of the drainage now, instead of draining back toward the buffer zone and the wetland, the drainage will now go to the grass swale between the two lots, and it'll basically go in the opposite direction into the grass area. So there's a significant amount of reduction in the drainage going towards the buffer zone area. And so the main issues here are the size of the building, 2 dry wells, and the driveway itself. We did go back to the zoning board of appeals, and they gave us an access easement to move the driveway over to that side of the house. The original plan, it was not approved, but the original plan had a driveway on the opposite side. So the driveway is now on the side. It was really the best for keeping the drainage away from the wetlands and away from the street, or away from the buffer zone. But
So how much did the footprint of the house expand to?
200 square feet.
200 square feet. Okay. And then did the driveway,
1,265 feet of the driveway is now draining away from the wetland towards the southeast, towards the grass area in the front of the building. So there's a significant amount of paved area now that drains well away from the wetlands. Yeah. Not to split hairs, but we're removing a stone wall on this property, and the stone wall itself is impervious and is well over 200 square feet of stone wall. So if you look at the amount of impervious area that's being taken out because of the boulders and the stone wall, the building is actually less.
okay, let me open it up to questions, comments from the commission.
I'm apologizing for my question ahead of time. I'm a little confused. Right now on the site, if I were to drive there, there's no house at all, right?
No house at all.
The house that exists. So we're talking about changes to things that were never built.
Changes to, yes, we're talking about a project change, minor project change to a previously approved plan. There's no building on this site at all. It's basically a field area in the front full of weeds.
Okay. And then as long as I have the mic, with the chair's permission, it's the new footprint is 200 square feet additionally, and I think, if I saw that map, all within the 100-foot buffer, all those 200 feet?
Yes, that corner of the building is in the buffer zone.
Okay. And then my last question, and I don't know, maybe Matt can help me with this. The driveway I'm looking at now is the new proposed driveway. But if you change the slope so that all of the water goes off to the, I'm not going to use compass directions, but to the right on that map.
To the right, southeast.
That seems to me to be, I don't know, a whole lot of dirt being dumped to get rid of a hill. That seems to, like, I'm wondering what effects that would have. Maybe we want water running where it is now, because there's no pavement now, into the wetland to maintain the wetland. Would we be actually drying out the wetland if we make an artificial hill that big, is my question that maybe Matt can help me with.
Well, it's fairly, this is a 90,000 square foot lot. And the amount of impervious area that we're talking about is, we're talking about like 2% of the lot. We're not going to be drying out the wetland. The impervious area of the building will be recharging the water into the water table, which ends up in the wetland. So,
but I thought you said we're directing water away from the wetland with building up a map.
Ted, if I can take a crack at your question.
Thank you.
I think in general, the issue would be if we were directing all that water into a storm drain or something and sending it to basically bypass a wetland. That's when typically you get into more issues of potentially altering a wetland through the hydrology. In this case, it appears as though, it's hard to see on the plan here, but it's being directed to a vegetated surface of some sort that's going to allow infiltration or uptake by vegetation or something. It's not really bypassing. Is that correct, Mr. Murphy?
yeah, it's going to drain over the septic system area, the front yard. It's going to, because there's a high spot there, it's going to go around the front of the house and eventually go back towards the wetland. So it's going to be going toward the wetland. It's not going to go directly to it. It's going to go a roundabout direction across the front yard and down into the buffer zone. So,
okay, that helps me. Thank you.
Yeah, so my question in looking at the plan that I had was, and I can't really see it based on the size here on my monitor, was confirmation that water, now the driveway pitch has been changed, that water isn't just going to end up in Chestnut Street, that it's being kept on the site in some way.
No, the driveway is going to be crowned in such a way that the waters, if you look at elevation 552, and it's crowned in that area, the septic system where the septic tank is like that corner of the house is 550. So it drains from the driveway down to 550 across the front yard. The whole idea is, what we've done is to increase the time of concentration. So you still get the water flowing through, but it doesn't have the intensity. It's a stormwater management issue where we're able to lower the Q, the height of the storm, by increasing the time of concentration across the front yard.
Just looking at the spot
volume
on
of
the
water.
plan, I see a feet 553.8, looks like at the garage at the house, and then a 551.
Right.
As a driveway is nearing Chestnut Street, and then Chestnut Street's looks at about 550. So to me, that looks like the water's running down the driveway into Chestnut Street.
But if you look at the front yard of the building, there's the front of the yard and the roadway. There's a swale, kind of a swale along the side of Chestnut Street. So the water is going to follow that grass swale that's existing on Chestnut Street. We're not going to be, I guarantee you, we're not sending drainage out onto the street. We have a grass swale that runs all along that area right now where the vent is for the septic system, and that goes toward the property line and then follows the swale along the roadway. The roadway was built up in that area. It's not lower. The road is crowned.
So the swale is parallel to the
Chestnut
road,
Street. Right.
Chestnut Street.
But presumably your driveway doesn't have a swale going across it.
It's crowned. The driveway is crowned. So what happens is you're looking at the crown, the 551.0, that's a crown area. And the swale, the drainage goes, on either side of it, to the left and the right. Even if you look at lot 3, you'll see that it's elevation 550 on lot 3, and the driveway is at 552. The water's going to run across lot 3 as well.
All right, we just want to make sure that, that driveway is going to be crowned when it's constructed, because to Matt's point, otherwise, based on the elevation here, it's going to end up.
The driveway
to Chestnut Street.
Yeah, the driveway has to be crowned. It has to be crowned. You can't build it flat. And if you look at the elevation of the driveway relative to the yard in front of lot 3, you've got elevation 550 on lot 3, and the driveway you see running along the property line is 552. That's going to go, that arrow at 552 is going straight into lot 3. That shows how the water is going to go in that direction. It's not going to be going down the driveway. It's going to go off into lot 3, into a grass area, which would basically be between the two lots.
Okay. All right. Other questions or comments from the commission?
Through the chair,
Yes, Don.
just wanted to bring up the progression of plans. So this was the original NOI plan. This was the plan that the commission approved. And then this is the project change before the commission.
If I could add to it, I think that, bringing in a second dry well, in this case here, is a better idea than one dry well. It just works better.
Yep, I think
The grading is going to be, beneficial in that the driveway is really being graded into grass areas on either side of the driveway. And,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that'll give you more recharge.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Yes, Ted.
Don, could you show us the original plan again and show us where the 100-foot buffer was on the original plan?
Yeah, this is the original plan, and
They heard our feedback and pushed structure out of the 100. Yes?
we took the driveway out of the 100. The house itself was pretty much the same.
Except the house is 200 square feet bigger, all within the 100 in your.
Right.
Yeah, this triangle of area was outside the commission's jurisdiction. This area and the garage was in, plus the driveway.
Driveway was all in previously.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
we were concerned that we might not be able to get the driveway relocated over to the other side of the house when we originally designed it. But then we just bit the bullet, went back to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and they agreed to allow us to move the driveway over. So we were able to take all of that impervious area out.
And the
entire
retaining,
driveway
and the retaining wall is out now as well.
Right. We moved all that out of there. And
Okay, we got it. Yep, Don, go ahead.
You had the way it was carved up, you had a property line here that was self-imposed. So then what they did was they redid, Oh, yeah, they got an access easement through that triangle of land.
Got it.
Right, we had to, we recorded that, and the building inspector was in favor of that. In fact, he felt that the frontage issue may have been overrated initially, that the line.
Okay. All right, so pretty much the entire driveway now is outside the 100-foot buffer.
Right, the entire driveway is outside. There's no pavement within the buffer zone.
Okay, good. All right, any other questions or comments from the commission? Questions or comments from audience members? Let me just see. I don't see any hands being raised. Okay, if I get a motion to approve the project change request as discussed.
Janine.
Janine made the motion, and a second, please.
Carrie, second.
All right, Carrie made the second. We'll do the roll call vote. Carrie,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Janine,
Aye.
Ted,
No.
and Jeff is an aye. So Ted was a no. Okay, you're all set. Thank you, Mr. Murphy.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
I shall, you too.
Through the chair, there are 5 members currently at the meeting, or is this, I've lost track.
Just Melissa dropped off.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
6, thank you.
We have 6, yeah. And then we have one more.
Rats. Just trying to adjust my screen here.
Yep.
Jeez. Keep getting it caught. So now going to the public forum requests. Yep. We received regards to public forum requests. This would be the first one. The extension request for the emergency certificate that was issued for 5 Woody Island Road.
Yep.
It's quite a complicated because of the 2 houses that are there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I've never had a request before, but for an extension, but and I haven't had a chance because this just came in yesterday. I didn't get a chance to look at it till today. But the applicant saying that there is precedent under the WPA for allowing an emergency, and it looks like if we do it, and then the commissioner, DP, would then look at our extension and they would rule on it, I guess. So I think the commission would still want this to move forward.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
if we've got a vehicle, issuing an extension, then yeah, I'd be all for it. I've just never come across this.
Yeah, because they have all the equipment out there, Don, and they're actively working it.
Oh, yeah.
2 houses that are impacted now.
Yeah, because I was talking with her last week, and I was like, we've never dealt with a request as DP, or the people they've worked with, for an extension, because I just thought that the extent, was silent. There was no form for extending an emergency certificate. And then I was like, well, we could just, we could issue something else to keep it, moving forward, either an extension, or we could even issue an enforcement or restoration order to keep the work going, So, but supposedly she's saying that there's, an avenue for this. So I would say we pursue it.
Yeah, I think given the seriousness of the situation out there. I'm okay with giving them another extension. Did we get the IRA plan? Did we get a copy of that, Don?
Yeah, I mean, I've got, this is the DEP's, this is what we received.
Because their LSP should have put together an immediate response action plan.
Okay. I don't think, it's probably, they just probably didn't forward it to us.
Okay,
But I assume everything's under this release tracking number, I assume.
okay. All right, so
I can,
the release tracking
reach
number
out
was
to,
issued.
I can reach out to Stephanie on that. I just
Yeah.
wonder if Matt, have you ever come across an extension for an emergency certificate before in your time?
No, this is a new one on me. The only other thing I could think of is I don't know what would stop you from just issuing another emergency certification and kind of restarting the clock in 60 days if you wanted to.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, but it would be based on this, right? Yeah, maybe I'll talk offline with you, Matt, if we don't want to issue an extension, if we just want to do a new one.
Yeah, I think a new one, or like you said, sort of a friendly enforcement that just, directs it, or I presume there was no plan for them to ever file a notice of intent for this, even after the fact or anything, or?
I don't think, yeah, I don't think we would be looking for that. We were just looking for the cleanup.
Yeah, because they want to do the work. They don't want to submit something and have us, review it and approve the work.
We've never done that with emergency works, I guess the commission could, after the fact, ask for a filing, but I don't know, that would be, the commission's never entertained that. They just like to follow up to make sure everything was cleaned up,
Yeah, it would just be like if it say it actually got into the lake and they had to do some sort of remediation of the lake and restoration of bank, things like
Right.
that. That's often
We
what-
know in this case, they haven't found that yet, which is why, why we're really trying to keep them working and not stopping, and this is due to expire in October. I get the emergency.
So Don, I think we're okay with the extension. You and
Okay.
Matt can, discuss it offline to figure
Yeah, I
out.
was thinking, I might just call DEP Zero too, talk to some of the analysts there
Yeah,
and see what would look favorable coming from us being received by them.
that makes sense. Why don't we do
Yeah,
that?
and they have till October 11th, but I wanted to get this before you guys ahead of time,
Okay,
Okay,
everyone's good with that? Okay. All right. We'll put it in your capable hands, Don.
all righty. We will work on that. And this one came in today. Project change request for Zero Downey. Let me give you, this is the project change. Yeah. And let me give you the, give me all three as they came in. So, yeah, this was the first one that wasn't really clear what was foundation and what was deck. So I asked them for some clarification, and they gave me this one. So basically, they're looking to, this is the approved foundation is here, and then they're looking to square off the foundation here and here. which is
You gotta bring the
inside.
plan up, Don. We're not seeing it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was just clicking madly to see if I had done something. So that
My bad. Yeah. That's what I was trying to reduce this. I can't, because every time I go up to close these out, I hit the screen sharing icon. So I was trying to make it smaller, and I can't. It won't let me grab without it. Okay, here we go. All right, just had to make it a little smaller. So, I'm sorry. So this is the so you've got your 50-foot buffer zone right through here, and they're looking to expand the foundation here and here, which is just outside, and then expand the deck that's inside the 50 from approved. So the black lines are what the commission approved. Red line is they're looking for more foundation. Blue line looking for more deck.
So just extending the deck out like
Yeah.
5 feet,
They
maybe?
might have told me in their request.
Is there a scale on the plan?
Yeah. But obviously, these are sketches too, but see if he told me how much more he's looking for. Yeah, I could try and bring it up into Adobe Pro. And,
That's okay, Don. I mean, it looks fairly minor in area, the deck.
Right.
And it's a pretty small lot anyways.
It's this sketch. They don't have the scale.
Okay.
When they do.
All right. So this is a project change request or an exemption request? Sorry.
Project change because the commission issued an order on
Right.
this.
Okay. All right. Does anyone have any questions or comments on this from the commission? Looks fairly minor in nature. Questions or comments from the audience? All right, if I can get a motion to approve the project change request as discussed.
Zed, so moved.
Ed made the motion, and a second, please.
Carrie, second.
Carrie, second. We'll go through the roll call. Carrie,
Aye.
Jim,
All right.
Ed,
Aye.
Neen,
Aye.
Ted,
Aye.
and Jeff is an aye. Is that the last one, Don, or do we have one
I
more?
believe that's it.
All right.
I don't think we missed anything.
Hey, before we go, Jim has a question.
Yes, Jim.
I got an email. It was in my junk folder, but anyway, apparently I was appointed to Zach. Did somebody on our commission do that?
Yeah, I think we appointed you when you were absent. from
No,
meetings.
when I was absent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't Ted? Are you doing Zach? I can't do Zach.
I am doing it, but then everyone wanted you there.
Who did?
Is that how that went? Really?
No,
I don't
no.
know. I just got an email.
No.
I don't know why Jim's there. I know that I said I would be happy to go back on
Well,
Zach.
maybe it was Ted then.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I'll wait to this.
Was that a mistake? I know we did a reorg. And it's usually at the end of the night.
Last night, again, I watched the planning board. They named my name when they talked about putting together this year's Zach. So
Okay.
I don't know what news Jim got, but they have my
Yeah,
name
that's
as the Concom rep.
I got a phone call from John telling me to swear in, and he sent me an email. But then I found the email in the junk folder, and I never asked to be on, and I don't have time to be on. So I'll just send John an email. I didn't know if it was some sick joke from you guys.
Hold on. You guys, give me 1 second. I'll just look into what we would have sent Zach. Zach.
Yeah, the
I
minute,
was a liaison.
Well,
the minutes said that Jim made the motion to have Ted on Zach.
Okay. Yeah, well, it was Ted. That's right. Because I
Yeah.
remember, Ted,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
said you were happy to
All right,
do
well,
it.
I'll just,
There was a
I'll just
meeting
say-
that I couldn't attend, but I said ahead of time, I'm happy to be the Zach rep for another year.
well,
Through the
I'm happy
chair?
you're happy.
Yep, Don, go ahead.
yeah, I'm just wondering if I can share my screen. I can find it. Yeah, it's right here. You guys able to see this?
Yep.
This is what I sent in August. It says Ted.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was our recommendation. It wasn't Jim.
Yeah,
All right,
no, that's
perfect.
cool. Thank you. I'll make sure that he knows it's Ted. Did you swear in, Ted?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I'll make sure he knows it's you. I'll copy you on the email I sent him. Okay?
Check.
All right, thanks.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved. Janine.
And Janine made the motion. A second, please.
Second.
Ted, second. We'll do the roll call. Carrie? I think Carrie dropped off already. So Ed?
Aye.
Lean?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Ted?
Aye.
And Jeff's an aye. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here, guys.